So we're going to talk about the use of veil. So this is a birdcage veil. Some people call it netting, some people call it mesh, but the proper name is birdcage veil. And for short, we just say veiling. People use it many different ways. And remember, hat making, it's all about your creativity. It's all about your style, fashion, and flair. But if you want to know more of the more principled methods of use to make your art look cutesy cutesy, like you are seeing in different videos or on different hats, different millionaires like myself, these are some of the methods. So this is the raw edge, the part that you cut, right? And just for the sake of the teaching, that the pretty part, the knotted part, or the bounded end, and the bounded. So you have two ends of that. So cut part right here and the cut part here. So this is 1 yard of it. So you are going to cut off the amount that you want. Use half yard, use a whole yard, 3/4, look two, like my friend would say, right? And you would want to probably have a gathered effect. First, let me put on back my hat base, right? Remember, say it now fit properly. So this is just for demonstration purposes. I should use this instead. Doesn't have elastic, but fits a bit better, right? Not so visible. Let us see what can go on. All right, looks a bit better here. Having my braids, so braids don't work well with trimming a hat here. All right, so you're gonna gather it from in the center. You take your time, bring it up. So I'm just using this entire yard because of the demonstration that I am doing, right? And here we go. Nice little fluffed up veiling. This is the easiest way. Some persons, they use the needle and thread from one end and run it to the other. For me, you have to work smarter, not harder. You just do that. You create a knot at one end. So you lock the thread in. You put the thread in. You hold it. You don't make it go all the way through. And then you continue to knot. And then what I do is carry the thread around the center. So if this method doesn't work for you, if you grabbing it from one end with the needle and run it through, if that's your way of doing it, fine. Do what works for you. But the point is to grab it in the center. And so when you're going to trim a hat, as we say, you can trim it anyhow you want. But there is just some principled ways, some basics that you can work with, especially if you're a beginner, so that you can achieve nice, nicely designed hats and saleable hats. So the simplest design that you can do, or the simplest method that you can utilize, that will make your hat sell, right? Rather than you going to try and do something elaborate or out of the box that you're not so confident about. So learn to do the things that works first. So we have that the veiling here, the needle and thread is here. So you go with your diagonal cut. Putting it on the top like this may be nice. Putting it here may be nice if that's your style. But the most common way that we would use this veiling to trim if you want to have that fluffy effect on the side is to position it like this, right? Most people will buy the hat looking like this because remember, nonetheless, yes, you want to express your creativity, but you want to create a hat that sells, all right? And so positioning it here is lovely. You want to create that kind of diagonal effect. It can sometimes be straight depending on whatever other embellishment you have here. But to go slightly to the front along with the cut of the hat is standard, and it gives that beautiful effect, gives you that little cutesy cutesy look. Don't go completely diagonal like this unless the style works. Don't go like this unless the style works. Because for one, it will look as if the designer drop off of the hat, right? And it won't look beautiful and it won't be appealing on the client's face, right? So what I normally do is I imagine that hairstyle. Do you know that hairstyle that used to be so common when I was at primary school? This hairstyle was so common, and it was one that I think I graduated with this hairstyle where you cane roll, the front go back to the center like this, and the cane roll, probably the back, go up to meet it, right? And you have that braid, you can braid it or create that crown or wrap effect along the top. If I can find a picture and put it here, I will, right? And I imagine that hairstyle. When I just started hat making, I used to imagine that hairstyle. And that would be what I would see or envision when I'm designing. So it's like a crown. I don't know if you get it, but it's like I'm creating a crown, that crown effect, and the way how you would um drape your hair, like if you have a bang and you want to kind of make some little twill and turn, you understand? You don't just necessarily just do something on the top of your head, props. But sometimes for a lot of people, when you have the little bang and it's to the side and you make that little curly curl and twirling, you understand? It gives that certain look or that certain beauty. It just enhances the face. Yes, that's it. Enhances your facial features. So you know, go all the way to the front, you go where the crown would sit. And you see, beautiful. So even when you want to make your bows with your crinoline, this is your position right here. So right where that funeral would have sit, coming right across. And this is generally where your ear is. See, move braid, right? See your ears right here, so it's in line with your ear. Generally, your design is in line with your ear. So you fix the hat good and position it. See, if you don't fix the hat good any at all, if the base don't fix properly, if it not set good on your head, when you are through with the hat, the design, the trimming, the embezzling, it's not gonna look nice. Something is gonna be off. You understand? And so you put right here, you put your pin and your tack. And if you realize there's a separation between the top and the bottom of the veil, I don't carry it around for it for me. If that is the look that you want, it is important that you have enough veil for you to create that look, because sometimes you want that fun look. But when this is a yard of veil, and if you notice, it's fluffy and nice and it's together, right? You would need at least a yard to create this effect for your hat to look full and can't be like you just put piece of veiling on it. You understand? And you try to create a look and it not get created, right? But otherwise, you have a lot, use half yard, right? And you position it like this. So I like to turn the raw end on the inside so it's not evident when you look at the hat for your hat to not look finished, right? And then you would put your stick or your hat pin and your your crinoline and whatever on it. So I was just showing you the positioning of your trimming.